will join, what we are going to be talking about today. Um, so, of course, like I said, the coach needs to be coached. And I was in a coaching session today, and there were some nuggets that I picked up. And so Tara and I, a while back, I think, I don't remember, it's like a month ago, I want to say, when we had started back on the new schedule, um, we kind of had this conversation, and I felt like we had got to a good place in 2 years. And then after 2 years, it was like something happened to us. And it was just like, what happened? Like, I couldn't get us, like, I felt like like there was something else we had to do. Like there was this next thing that we had to do. We've learned all the word, we've learned the lessons, we've learned a lot of things. And as I was talking to my coach today, a lot of the things that she had gave me, I was like, well, yeah, I've been doing that with my girls, my ladies, not my girls, my ladies. And there's like a couple of places that she's like, okay, so then the next thing is this, and then the next thing is that. And so we've gotten to a good place where we understand, and she gave me this list. It's like the understanding of what manifestation is. We understand that our words are powerful things, that it is a thing that creates. We understand that aspect, that we are co-creators with universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to label it as. We have understood that from the time we started up until current. We've got the understanding of that. We understand our vision. We understand the things that we see, not the perception of a thing, but going internal and seeing ourselves in the place that we say we want to be. And if we haven't gotten there, let me know and we will go back. Okay. And then we understood when we did Jabez, expanding our territory, expanding the capacity of who we were. And so when I was giving her all of this, she's just like, oh my gosh. So we talked about expanding our territory, enlarging our territory. We understood the expanding, our capacity to receive, like Jabez. He just out of the blue was like, enlarge me. And so we expanded ourselves in order to receive, right? And then we've understood the resistance, like what our mind tells us as to the reason why we kind of get blocked or why we actually stop doing a thing. We understood the things that we resist. And there's one of the sayings with the law of attraction that says, what we resist, it will persist. So if we continue to resist a thing or resist, how can I say it? If we continue to put off, relationship, love, money, going to that next level, going um, to be the person that we said we want to be, that's the thing that we will continue to have, right? So one of the things that she had mentioned to me today too was, and it was like, today was like, I didn't even cry. So that tells you like the level of growth I've went to, because usually I'm just like bawling my eyes out and I'm crying, but it wasn't that thing today. Today it was just like, I wanted to gather everything, and I didn't want, and I could say that I've grown because my emotions didn't get in the way. There was no crying, there was no tears. It was just like the level of understanding that I went to. So one of the things that she had said to me was, hold on, and it was like, ooh, um, hold on, I got to get back to it. I have to find it because it was, and then it was like this confirmation that I seen on TikTok. So it was, I choose to raise my level of tolerance. And then I was watching TikTok, and after I kind of like, once I gather all of the information and I get all of the, things, I put it out on paper, and then I sit and I just kind of let it resonate with me and I get an understanding, and I just went into my own world. And then I was on TikTok, and this lady said, I'm going to share it on TikTok, but she had mentioned, I almost turned a guy down, because of what I would have tolerated. and she said this guy came to her and he asked her to go on a same day date to a coffee shop. And so she said, well, I know that I don't go on same day. And she was like, any other woman would have told her, don't do same dates. Those women gurus out there, don't do same dates, or, tell him another day, for the coffee. And so she told him, I don't do coffee dates. I don't do same day coffee dates. So the guy rebutted and said, get dressed. I'm coming to pick you up on this day at this time. Be ready to go and da 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 da. You have to see it in order to kind of understand what she's saying. But what she said was the gist of it is when my coach gave me that, then I no longer tolerate, was it? Oh gosh. I increased my level of tolerance. I choose to raise my level of tolerance. She said, in life, you get exactly what you tolerate. Basically, if you tolerate a same day coffee date, that's exactly what you get in reality because you let it happen. So everything that we got going on in our lives is what we tolerate. So we tolerate these sorry guys. We tolerate the level of friendships that we have. We tolerate, these non-existent, delayed. So this is my thing. We tolerate these relationships, right? So then we've gotten into that. So then she's like, okay, so well, the next thing is now you have to step into the next version of yourself. The next version, she told me, the next version of yourself will not tolerate those things. She said, so when I tell you to raise your tolerance, she said, it's like the new person or the new version of yourself won't tolerate these low level relationships, these non-existent relationships, these bilateral relationships, or um, the way people talk to us or the way we're treated or the way we're devalued. She's like, when you step into that next thing. And she was like, so it sounds like what you guys need to do is step into the next level of the next version of yourself. And then you go to the accelerating things into the physical results. And then we go into locking our future. So she was like, sounds like you are on a roll. But I think what I told her is like, I felt like we just landed on a plane after after this plane ride, and it was like this long journey that we have taken for these 2 years. And I said, it was like all of a sudden one day I was just like, well, what's next? Like what's going to happen next? And then it was like I said, we got off this plane at our destination, and then we didn't even know what to do. Like I said, I didn't know what else. I said I felt like all of the teaching that I had was gone out the window because I felt like I didn't know what to do. And so again, the coach needs to be coached. And there's some things that I said when I gave myself the 6 months, I said that I wanted to master um, my trade and my brand and the level of knowledge that I have in this thing. Okay, so here I am today, and this is where we're at. We are going to step into the next level of ourselves because we all got the businesses, we all have the knowledge, we all have the capacity. We've understood what it means to enlarge our capacity because we have the scriptures. We got them down pat. We know them. We rehearse them. We go over these things. And she's like, yeah, but now we need to go to the next place. That who are you guys in this thing? And I said, oh, I said, I remember I asked them that question one time. And she said, but that should have been a consecutive thing. And she said, so now that you've, like she said, now that you've said that you've landed at the destination that you guys wanted to land at, which was being free, understanding how to manifest, understanding clarity, things like that. She's like, now it's a matter of who are you? Because when you got on the plane, she said you were one person, but now getting off the plane, who are you? And now you're at the destination. So the level up, now we have to go to the next level of ourselves. And that means that we have to go within ourselves. And I know some of us are doing that inner journey, that inner channeling, things like that. So then she's like, because I gave her all of my things that I wanted to do within the 6 months. And I know it's realistic because I know that where I want to be, it's in me. It's already there in me. I just need to start acting on that part. And she's like clapping her hands at me. And I'm like, so it's like, I know it's there, but I just need to act on it. And she said, no, what you need to do is that you need to walk into that version of yourself. And I was like, whoa. And she said, it's like you morph into that person. She said, so when you think about getting off the plane, she said, you came on one way, but you're getting off another way. And she said, what happened is that because you didn't know that version of yourself and you weren't really acknowledging that version of yourself, it held you guys up, the ladies here. And I was like, ooh, and I don't want to say it stung me, but it was just like that. Oh my gosh. And she says, yeah, because you are the leader and you are leading them on this journey. And she says, so when you didn't walk into that version of yourself, they didn't walk into the versions of themselves that you guys had walked through for 2.5 years. You guys didn't morph into that person. And I thought, oh, okay. All right. So I told her an income that I wanted to make within the next 6 months. And she gave me this task. And when I tell you that this task was such an eye opener for me, and it really, everything coincided with that for me. So what she said was, I want you to figure out what is your relationship with money. And I was like, what? She was like, I don't want you to do it now. I don't want you to try to figure it out now. I want you just to sit and I want you just to figure out what your relationship is with money. And when I go back next week, she's like, we'll talk about it. And so she was like, it's probably going to be an awakening moment for you, or it's going to bring some things to light for you. She was like, because you're the coach and you have that revelation of understanding. She was like, there's going to be some things that are probably going to be like, oh my gosh, or it's going to make you really hold it's either going to hold you up or it's going to make you go forward and it's going to make you really think about it. She said it's not good, it's not bad, but it's just an awakening revelation for you. So I said, okay. So I'm sitting here and I wrote down my relationship with money. And when I tell you, I looked at my money and then I looked at my relationships. And when I tell you the two matched, it was like, oh. So my relationship with money is non-existent, it's delayed, it is relevant, but not consistent. It's secure, but not stable. Um, well, I could say that to flip that around, that it's stable because it comes every 2 weeks, but it doesn't secure me long term, right? It shows up and it takes care of my basic needs, but not the long term. It provides a temporary fix, meaning that it gets me, the bare minimum of what I need. Um, and then it provides me, it's not long term, but it's not long term and it's not lasting. So it just kind of, it ends fast, right? And then it's in and out and it's off and on. So money comes and then it leaves. It's in, then it's out. So I get it and then it's gone. And so when I sat and I correlated that to my relationships, I thought, holy, holy, holy. My relationships with men are non-existent or they're delayed. They are relevant, but they are not consistent. They are stable, but it's not secure. They show up and they take care of the basic needs, and we all know what the basic needs are, but it's not a long-term thing. It provides the temporary fix. It is not long-term and it's not lasting. It's in and out and it's off and on. And when I got that revelation, I thought, oh my gosh. So I realized that I don't spend time with money and I don't spend time in my relationships either. Like I feel like it's just there. I'll deal with it when I need to. And one of the things that I had told her was like, you know, before we got off, I was like, well, I know my numbers. I can tell you that I know my numbers. And she said, yeah, that's just like knowing a man. You know everything about him, but you don't spend time with him. And I was like, eek. Ugh.
Did you think about giving it away and not getting anything in return from it?
Yeah. So you give, it's the in and out. It comes in, but nothing comes out of it. Or I'm giving, but I'm not receiving, the reciprocity of it, right? And so she's like, you know, when you think about that, she said, I just want you to think about it. She said, I don't want you to rush through it. She was like, you know, if you choose to do it, she's like, because I can tell you're like I do my assignments, like, because I want to know, like, and I need to know it. And she said, but I really want you to spend time with the rest of it for the rest of the week. And I really want you to get to it. So then when we meet again, you'll have that understanding. And then she can break it down for me. She said, but when we think about the tolerance, what you tolerate, she said, you have tolerated a 40-hour work week. You've tolerated the living paycheck to paycheck. She said, you have tolerated just doing the bare minimum with your check. You have tolerated doing the bare minimum with your businesses. She said, you have tolerated getting $20 here and $100 here or $10 here. She said, you've tolerated this. And I'm like, oh, and she said, and it's not anything to make you feel bad. It's like it's bringing it to your awareness. Because I told her, I said, usually I'd have been crying. Like the old me, she's like, yeah, because the new version of you is really wanting to understand why isn't the wheel moving? And she said, it's because of what you tolerate, the tolerance. And so she said, so when we go back, it is, I choose, and she said, I want you to say it, I choose to raise my level of tolerance. And with that, it means that we don't get in life what we dream about, but we get in life what we tolerate. When we tolerate these low level, bottom level people in our lives, that's exactly what we're going to get. Low level, bottom people. We tolerate people disrespecting us. My kids. And guess what? You know what? And every time, you know, the times I've come here, I've tolerated you. It's like, you know, when we deal with the thing, but we tolerate a person. Have you guys ever heard that? Like I just tolerate it. I
Mhm.
just tolerate a person.
You go along just to get along.
We go along week to week. We go along with
Mhm.
Instacart. We go along with all of these things. We go along with it because we just tolerate. You guys tolerate getting $100. You tolerate going back and forth delivering groceries to somebody when you should be having your groceries delivered to you. We tolerate that. I tolerate, you know, week to week paychecks or monthly stipend. I tolerate that. I tolerate a person paying me bare minimum of what my gifts and talents are. This is what we're doing. We're tolerating. Oh, when she said, okay, so anyway, she says we live into our minimum standard daily, not sure of what our minimum standard is with money. Just take a look at your money. And when she said that to me, I thought, oh, so I looked at my money. She's like, look at your bank account, look at your savings, look at the revenue, look at your cash in, look at your cash out, look at every part of what your money looks like. And that'll tell you exactly what is going on. She's like, that is your minimum standard. So I said, I no longer tolerate that. Okay. She said, so if you're excited about a thing, it is simply because it happened in our future. So everything that we're going through right now, and if we're excited about, you know, businesses, relationships, things like that. Remember, I said the witty ideas and inventions, that is something that we've already done in our future. So when we took the journey, all we were doing is meeting ourselves where we're supposed to be, the next level of ourselves. That's where we're supposed to be. So I was like, what? She's like, yeah. So when you guys got off the plane, they were waiting for you to meet your new self so they can meet their new selves as well. So our inner reality, so it's our job to become the alchemist. And I know, and I said, man, I have been teaching them about the alchemist and all. And she's like, you're on the right track. But I think that was where I needed to get the teaching from. And what happens is a lot of people don't think that they need that. And I'm like, well, I didn't know what to do. And I just felt stuck. And so here I am. So the alchemist knows how to shift reality, meaning they know how to take water, fire, earth, and air, and they know how to use it. If we think about Jesus being the word, he knew how to take the word and manipulate it in a way that it would be something that would be more magnanimous. So when we think about when he took the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, that fed a multitude of people because he knew how to take that thing and speak to it and tell it, you are going to feed this amount of people. So remember when we talked about our words and what we speak, it's like, that's why we tell when we talked about the word, and it's sharper than any two-edged sword. It divides a thing and it brings a thing together. So when we think about our words, we are either going to multiply a thing or we are going to deplete a thing, right? So she says that we need to become the alchemist and shift our inner reality in order to bend time and space. Remember, I kept telling you guys there's no space and time. We are just in a thing and we can manipulate it into making it what it is. So when we think about, I remember telling you guys about when I was in this orbit and this voice, there was nothing there. It was just like this darkness. But I remember I saw the planet Earth that was way, way down. It was so far. And I remember this voice told me, everything that you need is already there. You just have to go get it. And I was like, huh? And I remember he just threw my blessings, miracles, all that. He just threw it down there. He said, now you need to go get it. And I thought, well, okay. So that was years ago. But that is our job, is to bend space and time and pull the future into our current reality. So when we got off the plane of the journey that we had went on these 2.5 years, when we got off, what we were supposed to do was because on the journey, we were bending space and time. Okay, we were bending space and time. And when we got off, we were supposed to just pull that into the current reality. Can you guys hold on a second? Well, all right. I'm back. Sorry, my grandson he's on one right now. Anywho, so we are understanding today about stepping into the next version of ourselves. And so as she's giving me the information, what I heard was the children of Israel. Do we see ourselves the way God sees us? Remember when the children of Israel were being freed, God had came because he saw them as the chosen people, right? So as the chosen people, they had like there's this version of themselves that I don't believe that they saw living in the land of milk and honey. I don't believe that they saw themselves there, but God saw them there, right? So when we think about this next version of ourself, do we see ourselves the way God sees us? And I remember, I want to say it was like maybe 2 weeks ago or a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last month, that I had said that I want to see myself the way God sees me. Like I want to see me the way he sees me. So I remember asking him, God, who am I? Because I want to see myself the way you see me. So I want to become her. So going on the journey, I was becoming her. And then when we got off the plane, I didn't walk into her because there was that level of fear, like, what are people going to say? Are they going to judge me because now I'm here? Are they going to try to say, now she's a life coach, or try to judge me based off of the old part of me before I got on the plane, right? So then there was this saying that she said, like walk to a certain part, and she told me to write this thing, and she's like, walk to a certain part of your life that represents my future, and then stand in that spot, take a look back, remember the children of Israel when they were at the Red Sea. And I call that like the Red Sea moment. Like I was at that moment of the Red Sea where now here I am, I'm at this part, and then the old part of me, you know, when we think about, oh, I should get a part-time job, or I should, you know, maybe I should go back to book, maybe I should just be with this guy, or maybe I should do this. It's like the level of tolerance that keeps us at that place, right? So it was like, take a look back and feel the success that we've made it. Like if we think, and I've thought about this I want to say it was Wednesday night. When we take a look back, and I mentioned this to you too, Zakia, when we look back where we were at, do you guys remember when we all met where we were 2.5 years ago? I mean, if you could just take a look back and just remember, we were crying, we were weepy willows, we weren't doing our due diligence to get businesses. We were just in this lackluster place. We didn't have it was a mess. Remember? Just think back. I just want you guys just to think back all week and think about where we were 2 years ago. If I'm the numbers correct, 2 years, just think back where we were. Where just sit with that, okay? And then imagine you achieved all of your outcomes. You have to be true to yourself through your thoughts. And then I gave the scriptures, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus. Let this mind be in you, let this mind be in the word, which is also in Christ Jesus. Our words, and it's sharper than any two-edged sword. And then our actions. Faith without works is dead, right? So it's like we have to be true to ourselves in our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We have to know our purpose, and we have to harness our systems, embrace the fear of failure. Oh, no, wait, we have to know our purpose, embrace the fear of failure, control our minds, harness our own systems. And that means not just doing a goal, but making a system. So Zakia, like if you say you want to do your shirts, what is the system? Don't create just a goal, but create a system. There's a book that I've been reading. It's called I think it's called Atomic Systems or something like that, but that's a good book. Expect luck and assimilate expectation. So take an understanding of what the reality is and what we expect. The expectation of a thing, right? And then it was avoid mental handicapping, which we've kind of done. We were like, I just don't know. And, you know, being afraid to move forward. And then we need to hustle and don't make excuses for ourselves. And we need to just be great and not perfect. Because I think what for me, what I'm finding is I'm trying to be like this perfect coach. I'm like, well, I got this thing and I got this understanding and I want to be perfect. And I'm realizing like I am not a Eric Thomas or Lisa Nichols or what's the lady that you told me I remind you of, Tara?
Oh God, I can't think of her name.
Oh,
You
she's
did,
coming.
did you watch what I sent you? Oh my God, it's terrible.
When did you send me something about
I
her?
sent I sent you a video.
Yeah, I watched it, but I don't remember her name. Anyway, she'll be here in Colorado Springs. And reframe the competition. So when you think about a person that's doing something similar to creating t-shirts or Yummy or coaching, it's like you have to reframe that. Like what is it going to look like? What is going to make me be different than that person? And so then she's like, if you plan on being anything less than you're capable of being, you will probably be unhappy in all the days of your life. This is a saying, a quote that I saw, and that's from Abraham Maslow. And so I said, plan on being anything more and know that you are capable of being just that. And then I put my name, Tarina Cannon. So we have the understanding of stepping into the next version of ourselves. So that is the homework that, I mean, and one of the things that she mentioned to me was that she was like, well, do you hold them accountable when it comes to homework? And I was like, no. And she says, well, Tarina, how are they going to learn or gather an understanding if you don't give them the homework? And then when they're not doing the homework, she said, not holding them accountable. She said, because I'm going to hold you accountable because you came to me as the coach. She said, I'm holding you accountable to do the homework. And I'm like, she said, do you even provide homework? And I was like, sometimes. She said, so when you provide it, do you double back? Do you remind them? And I said, no, because I don't even remember. And she's like, oh my God. So she's like, you need a system, a reminder of a homework. What does that look like? And she said, well, what that tells me is that you're not even doing the homework. I was like, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to get up off my neck. Just get up off my neck. And she says, don't worry. She said, we all make the mistake. She says, we as coaches, we get so excited because we have this knowledge. And she's like, and we are born to do this thing. But one of the things that we forget is we also forget to do the homework. She said, we are not just teachers, we are also students. And she said, so now that you're with me, she said, this is, so I give homework and now I have to double back and be like, did you guys do your homework? So there's that. Anywho, let us continue. So accelerating physical results. And I thought, well, what does that mean? And I couldn't understand, like, it was hard for me to gather the understanding of accelerating the physical results. So what that looks like is our self-worth plus our millionaire consciousness. So our self-worth plus that equals the thing. And so I was like, oh, I said, so it was kind of like I was telling them, we did a topic on the summation of our words. And she's like, yes, it's something similar to that. She's like, it's you plus the thing that you say you want equals the outcome of the thing that you're saying. So your self-worth plus this millionaire status is going to equal the thing that we've said, the millionaire status, right? My daughter just, anyway, I'm not even going to complain about it. Anyway, so she told me about these portals, like different portals. So remember when we were in church, Tara, and they would talk about portals, windows, Cindy Trim used to talk about portals. And that was the first time I had ever heard about portals, was like Natara's 17 years ago, maybe 16 years ago, when I heard the word portal. We've always talked about windows, we've talked about doors, but they never spoke. When I heard portals, I thought, wow, that's a whole new experience, because it's one thing for us to walk through a door. It's one thing for us to open up a window, but it's a whole nother thing when we go through a portal. That's a whole nother thing. And Tara, remember when I kept telling you about going through the portal and you would hit that wall of seeing her on the other side, but it was like, what is it going to take for you to break the window to just meet her? Like, what stops you from doing that thing? What stopped you from breaking the glass and just like, okay, I'm her. That's me on the other end, but how do I get there? And it was just a matter of breaking the glass and just being there and not rerouting yourself, because what you tended to do was you tended to reroute yourself and go in opposite direction and go, well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I want to say not just you, but we've all rerouted ourselves when we hit that wall and we just like, oh, I can just probably go around, trying to find an alternative route. We think about the children of Israel, they did the exact same thing. They wandered for 40 years because they tried to find an alternative route to the land of milk and honey when it was just right there. It's just right there. It's like your blessing is right there. Why go the alternate route when it's right there? The version of you is you're looking at her. And instead of you meeting her where she is, well, just go somewhere else. So just think about when we got off the plane of the journey this year. And remember, Tara, I was telling them when we had came back and we started our sessions again. And remember, I asked you what happened? I don't know where we need to go. Like, what is it? And so I was telling my coach, I was like, well, we got off the plane. I said, I remember we all got on the plane. I said, but when we got off, she said, well, what happened when you got off? And I was like, nothing. And she said, well, that's because you didn't move. She's like, if you think about the movement and the actions that you guys have taken, you guys have understood the word, the knowledge, got all this, got all it down pat. She was like, it's just like people who do affirmations. They got it down pat, but it's not, there's no movement, there's no action into it. And so and I told her, I said, I'm a seer. So my analogy is like, we all got on a plane, we all got our bags, we've all filtered through, we got on the plane, and then we just got off. And then we didn't meet our true authentic selves in that moment. Like, we didn't go find ourselves. Oh, that's deep. That just kind of came to me. But we didn't go and find ourselves. We're just standing at the airport. Like, is somebody gonna come get us? We're waiting for our other selves to show up when we need to go and meet her where she is. Meet her at the restaurant. Meet her at the shop. Meet her in the marriage. Meet that person where we say we want to be. So when we really like define where we want to be and define what that looks like, because she broke some stuff down to me today. I was like, I'm, So what she said is that we need to choose to be conscious individuals, conscious in the thing that we want to be, right? Conscious in the personal chef, conscious in in the relationship with Chuck, conscious in being the millionaire, conscious in the relationship, conscious in, the thing that we said. We have to be conscious, because at that moment, what she said, it was like, if you think about you're on a plane, she was like, it's like you guys kind of got jet lag. Some of us wanted to go to sleep. Some of us wanted to stay awake. Some of us didn't want to go on a journey. Some of us wanted to go on a little tour, but it was never about us. It was about everything that we wanted to see outside of us and not meeting us at that place in that divine moment. So choosing to be conscious, I choose to be a conscious millionaire. What am I trying to say? I choose to be a conscious personal chef that is a millionaire, or $1 million personal chef. I choose to be in a perfect relationship. I consciously choose to be a successful life coach, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's being conscious in that thing, right? Hold on, please. We need the money to come to our account. So we need to manifest that. All right. So I choose to be a millionaire, a conscious millionaire, right? So it feels normal. So there was this part that that we were talking about, and she was like, when I became the person that I am, she was like, when it happened, and she said when her staff came, she was like, when it happened for me, she was like, I was like, huh, and so when they did an interview for her, she said, I didn't even, I couldn't tell them that it was just like, oh, it felt natural. And she said the reason it felt natural is because what she kept putting out there. So when we got to the back part, there was this part that we went to, and when she was like, it's just an everyday thing where you're consciously putting out there. Because what I learned today was everything that we're doing is energy. Every part of us is like this magnetic force that we're putting out there. And so if our energy is low on a certain thing, it's not going to manifest. So the more we keep putting that thing out there, I remember when I was talking about that, what we resist. If we keep resisting a thing, that's the energy that we're putting out, and we're going to get more of that thing. So if we're putting out, I don't got $20, or I don't have gas, or I don't have this, that's exactly what we're going to keep getting more of. So like when we think about men, when we, hold on, please. Lesson at hand. Jesus. All right. So the reality that we're choosing, okay? What is the reality that we're choosing? Are we choosing the reality of being broke? Or are we choosing the reality to be wealthy, millionaires? What is the reality that we're choosing right now? Right now, we just chose the reality of I don't have any gas money and I don't have $20 and I don't, because I just said it too. So it's not just you, Tara. But we choose the reality. Like we shape shift into this reality of we say we want to be broke. One thing I've learned is that we can't be in two realities at the same time. We can't be in broke and wealthy at the same time. We have to choose one. Remember that scripture that says, choose you now, choose you this day in whom you will serve. Are you going to be wealthy or are you going to be broke? What is the reality that you are choosing? Okay. So what she was telling me is like, we have to get into the vibration of feeling wealthy, feeling the being with that person and showing up as that person. So when we went on our journey and we were on our plane, we learned all the lessons and whatever, when we got off, now it's a matter of us really sitting. Because at this point, what I just got was we got off the plane, but we didn't do any work. Like there was no meditation. I mean, we've done prayer, but like when we meditate, that is us coming into that portal. Remember the portal, we come to that portal and we become that person because we have to visualize that person. When God said, write the vision, make it plain, that when you see it, you'll be able to run with it. It's also the manifestation of closing your eyes and seeing that version of yourself. And so what she said is it'll code through you and then it'll come through to your reality. So once you feel it, it starts to code in you. It's like the matrix. It starts changing the code. There's a different code that comes through us. And then we get the feeling from the inside out. It's not the outward in, it's inside out. So what we cultivate from the inside out. So I don't want to overload you guys on that because it was, for me, it was an overload. So we are going to step into the next version of ourselves. And we are going to do that by accelerating our physical results. And how do we do that? We do it with our consciously saying daily that this is the person that I want to be. So what she told me to do was she told me to set a manifestation timer, an alarm actually. And so she was like, have the alarm go off so that you can sit in that reality and like make it every hour. And she was like, make it a happy alarm so that when the alarm goes off, you know that I'm about to manifest. Like, I'm a manifestation. So when the alarm goes off, she was like, she wants me to stop, close my eyes, and tap into the feeling of already having received the whatever the thing that I say that I want. And then tap into the frequency of feeling, the feeling state and the vibration of it. Because what we do is, what she's saying is, it's like when we talk about in church, like the generational curses and things like that, that's what she basically, in that terminology, is we are recalibrating from the inside out. Okay. So there's going to be some homework and I'm going to send it in text message. And I literally, she got into me today. So she was like, you don't even send it in email? And I was like, no, because I figured they got it. She was like, do they really, Tarina? I was like, well, I think they do. She was like, yeah, but that's not necessarily how that works. She was like, you have to give them the outline, give them the work to do. So there's that. So anywho, I know you guys are tired and I don't want to keep you guys too long and I don't want to prolong this. So I'm going to send this guys to you guys, but you have it on video because it's going to be recorded. And we are going to, oh my God, San Francisco is kicking their butt. We're going to learn how to recalibrate ourselves and recalibrate from that broke mindset or that poverty mindset to the mindset of millionaires. So as we are on this journey and now we have landed at the destination, now we have to learn how to recalibrate ourselves and begin to walk into the women that we see ourselves as. Okay. So there's going to be some questions that are going to come your way as I think about this later. And I want you to do your homework. So when we come back together, you will have manifested a part of yourself that you need to be. Does anybody have anything they want to say?
I do.
Okay.
So with what you're talking about, I just want to tell you what happened to me this morning. So I was cleaning up. I finally like started doing my yummy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to podcast this morning, and it was talking about wounds,
About goals?
mother wounds.
Oh, mother wounds. Uh-huh.
So, I'm still bleeding from that. And I know Spirit had me hear that to say, hey, you need to go back and work on that. Because I can't take it. My new person, she doesn't want that. So it's not even ironic. It's so on time that we're talking about that. Because
Yeah.
the mother wound, I have to take what I got, take responsibility. I don't need the person who was my villain, as she says, to heal from that. So just want to say that. So I can become the best version of me. Just wanted to share.
But yeah, because it's like if we think about the children of Israel when they were wandering, remember all they did was complained.
Mm-hmm.
They complained, they were disobedient. They talked about the leader Moses. They did all these things. And when it got down to that point of they were still kind of broken. They were still going back. You're like going back to the mother wound. Like, and I'm looking at you like, girl, we are in a whole nother area. Like we are in a whole nother destination. Like if I see us, the way I see us is like we've got on a plane and we landed into this destination location and we're there at the airport and we've landed. And then it's just like, okay, so where are we going? And I'm looking at you like, girl, we are in a whole nother location right now. So I'm gonna need you to get it together. Now, I can't tell you to get it together because I'm not even stepping into the coach or the leader to tell you like a Moses. And God, I stutter. Well, God, I'm afraid to, well, God, and he's like, oh, hey, hold on. So I chose you for this thing. So I need you to go the whole nine. Okay. Don't just waver in it. Just become Moses. Just become Tarina, the life coach. Who is she? So one thing she told me was to find an alter ego. And I was just like, well, I have 4 of them. She said, I need you to narrow it down. She's a white lady. So Gail, don't judge me. Anyway, well, you just need to narrow her down. I know you're our black white friend.
I'm affected.
Gail,
This
that's
one,
a white lady voice.
I am affected.
That's a white lady voice.
I'm affected. So she said, well, you need to narrow it down to just one between yourself and the alter ego. And when we think about like Kanye West, Beyonce, who are all these people that have this alter ego person? So when you see Beyonce, she's just like Kanye is what was his person? He's weird.
Kanye's polar. He should have a second personality. I'm just
Well,
saying.
he a true Gemini, so they two-faced anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of hone in on Beyonce. When we think about Beyonce is like this, she's sweet, she's just like you just see her and she's like, oh, but
Overrated.
this other woman that comes out is strategic in business. She is a master at producing, it's like a master of coming out. Because remember when she did Lemonade,
Oh
everybody
God,
was
yeah,
like, she done made a whole record and didn't nobody know about it. She
yeah.
did it in
That was
silence, but she made the saying that says, don't tell nobody what you gonna do. You just do it. She didn't tell nobody about that album. And how people kept it on the low, and then all of a sudden we've got this massive master of a record that women are just going bananas over. Not so much
that
as
was
men, but women are going bananas over this, what she did. So when you think about Sasha Fierce, I'm pretty sure when she sits down, Sasha Fierce just erupts out of her and she's like, okay, so we're going to do this, 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 and this, and this. When it comes down to business, I don't know if it's Beyonce or if it's Sasha, but when you think about her, it's like you would never know that she is the, like, Sasha Fierce is just like this woman that just erupts. She just comes out. So she was like, we need to narrow it down to one. Find the one. So I
Mm,
don't even think it's Tara, Tessa, or Tanika. I really don't think it's her. I don't
it's
think it's
Jamila. I'm Jamila.
Jamila. Well, come on, Jamila.
Dolly Parton's the same way. She's very foul-mouthed in her laid-back life, and kind of puts on that air like she's just a sweet. Look at her. She's the richest female artist there is because of look at what she all has. She's got Dollywood. She's got all these things. She's a hell of a businesswoman.
Yeah. So
It's the
that we
business
need to emulate
that'll
them. We need to like emulate those women, like study them. Like, what is it about Beyonce? Like, what, when she did that, I thought this woman done came out of just no, with a whole album, not a half album, a whole album that told a whole story.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I was like, I was amazed. And I shucked it off because I was like, oh, you know what I said? And in my mind, I was like, oh, that's just Beyonce. That's just Beyonce. Right? But why can't we be? Oh, that's just Tarina. She's a master at what she does. Right? Or that's just Dolly Parton. Why can't we be like that? You
We
know?
can. We can
Right.
be.
We are. We are
She's
those women. We just need to walk into those women. Because right, like I said, right now we got off the plane 2.5 years ago. We've been on this journey. We got off the plane and we were just like, yay, I'm healed, I'm free. Huh, huh, huh. Children of Israel, free, huh? But I'm gonna complain because God, I don't have any money for gas, or God, I'm gonna complain because I don't have the relationship I want, or God, I'm gonna complain because I keep getting these sorry dudes, and God, I'm gonna complain because I'm not doing my business, and God, we complain. But the blessing is right on the other side. When we think about the children of Israel, it was like, it was right there. He's like, all you had to do, he said, you know what? And just because I told God, I don't ever want to miss out on anything that you have for me. I don't want any door.
Mm.
And I always said door, but I don't want to miss out on no portal. I don't want to miss out on no window. I don't want to miss out on any energetic field that could get me to the next place, that could morph me into the next place. I don't want to miss out on that. And so going through this training today, I was like, wow, that taught me so much. But my relationship with money, she was like, it tells you about the people that you hang around. She said, you are one of the 5 people that you deal with on a regular basis. I wrote it down because I was like, girl, don't come for me because I don't really have a lot of people that I hang around. She was like, oh, yeah, you hang around the people, at the women that you deal with. Where's my readers? Oh, they're right. They were right there. Hold on. Where did she say it? And I was like, yee yikes. Take stock in your environment, the people that you hang around. I was like, wow. But what she did, okay, so I'm going to give you guys that too. All right, so this was the part that she got me. So she was like, I'm a conscious millionaire now. And she's like, there's a version of us that has been coded to assist us on our journey.
Hmm.
When you saw yourself, remember when I told you, like, Tara, like, she's right there. That person has been coded to assist you to get where we were. So this 2.5 years, these women have been coded to get us where we've landed, right? And this version of you is a thought away. Your highest self that is available to you, that's already walked your path, is available to you right now. What's that version of you like? It's like, start connecting, like doing your journaling, meditation, start connecting and downloading the pieces of information. How does this version of you talk? How do they walk? What's the difference? What's different about them versus you right now? How does this version of you show up? What kind of environment are they in? What does this version of you say yes to? What does this version of you boldly say no to? What does this version of you take a stand for in your family, your life, and in your relationships? How does this version of you move your body? What do you eat? How do you play? What do you serve? How, and she's like, just what do you speak? Like how? And she's like, think of it as like an interview, like you are interviewing the Sasha Fierce in you.
Mm.
Right? And you're interviewing the personal chef. So what do you do on a daily basis? Like that's a good saying. It's like interview yourself. An interview with yourself. No, an interview with your true self.
Hmm. True self. Now, true self and authentic self, is that the same?
Yes. Yep. I mean, they label it different, but it's all the same. Your authentic true self. What is the personal chef? Like, who is she? What does she do? What does her day-to-day look like? Where does she live? How does she talk? What kind of car does she drive? What kind of foods does she eat? Who are the people that she serves? How do you serve them? Where's your location? Like, it's an interview with yourself, with the highest version of yourself, like the true authentic self. Who is that woman? So she's like, create the dialogue and allow the dialogue to code through you. And it's an energetic conversation where if you start opening this portal, you will literally be coded at a cellular level with the information that you need in a way where it is not logical and you won't notice it until you look back. So remember, we literally were coded 2 years ago to be the women that we are today. Right? So now we just need to go the full distance and recalibrate and be recoded to that true authentic person, that millionaire. But it takes work. And I remember I did a TikTok and I said this is not for the weary. This is not for the faint at heart. This is not for people where we start and we don't finish. It's not for those who give up really quickly. It's not for those who go through a scenario and then they stop the process. It's not for those who start climbing the mountain and then just sit down or just go back down the mountain like, well, I could make it. This is not for that. And daily we're ever learning. And so when I learned this part, I can say that I'm proud of myself that there were no tears that were shed. It was just more of the enlightenment and the awakening of what I have already done. And then, because when I told her, I was like, I just feel like as a coach, I got stuck. And I said, and so then what I would do is I started relying on them to show up and me not showing up. So I'm relying on you guys to be like, hey, are we meeting today? And then I would meet instead of just honoring that part of me as the teacher. And she's like, and even if you're there by yourself, you do, she's like, do it. She was like, if you're recording, then record. She said, just do it. And then she said, and then you post it. She was like, it's still, you still showed up. She beat me today so good. I was like, it was like that good. So when we do massage, we have that hurt so good. That's what that was. It was like the pressure, but it hurt so good. It was like that. Oh, okay. It was like I was sitting there and I was eating all this stuff and I'm licking my fingers like, oh, this is so delicious. And so she's like, even if they don't show up, she was like, if nobody shows up, she was like, at least you showed up. And she said, but you can still teach. She said, that is what's in you. Teach. She said, and then post it. She said, you're telling me you got a YouTube channel. She said, but there's nothing that she went and looked. She said, where is everything? And I was like, I hide it. And she was like, because why? And I was like, well, number one, because I haven't had the lady sign a confidentiality agreement to say that I can, like a release of information that I can release the video and you guys would be okay with that. And she was like, well, you need to get on that. She was like, because if they're coming to this and they're sitting in a setting, she was like, you need to make sure that they are okay with that. And she said, and ask them. She said, have you asked them if you can post it? And I was like, no. And she said, well, because why? And I was like, because I just felt that this was our thing. And she said, she leaned into the screen and she said, if you are talking about you want to be a global game changer, how are you sitting here and you're holding on to a baby or a gift? And she said, and you are not giving it to everybody else. She said, that is crazy to me. She said, you have, and I, when I shared my screen and I showed her, and she was like, Tarina, this is how she talks, Tarina, you have all of these things and you choose to not? And I was like, ma'am, she said, you asked them. You meet tonight? And I said, yes. She said, you asked them. You asked them if you can release. You have to release because people need you. And I'm like, okay. She was like, they are not the only ones who need you. The world needs. She said, how can you be global when you're holding on to it? She said, so she said, you're not even local. She said, you're like a silent investor that nobody knows about. It was like boom, 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 uppercut, bam, and I was like, ah, Jesus, help me. I was getting whooped today, but I mean, so there it is. So if you guys are okay with it, I will be releasing those and putting them public because right now they're unlisted. And she was like, unlisted. She said, you're like a person. She said, it's like nobody knows about you, but you're there. You're a coach, but nobody knows. She was like, do you even post on TikTok? And I was like, sometimes. I said, but I do like little personal stuff. She's like, so you don't even do business? And I was like, no. So she was like, yeah, okay, so I'm not going to do anything else with you. You're going to do your homework and that's what it's going to be. So I was like, okay, I got homework. So that is my homework, to ask you if it'd be okay if I release to the public. And then I have other things I got to do. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys this as your true authentic self, like interview her, sit with her and just talk with her. You can even record it if you choose to, just so you can kind of, and if you like what I just heard is like, if you interview it, just listen to the different voices, because when we think about Beyonce and Sasha Fierce, there's two different voices that she has. The tone is going to change, right? So when you interview the true authentic self, the person that you say you want to be, that millionaire woman, just listen to the tones of, so what do you, how do you do such and such? Da, da, da. And then just listen to how you answer, because it's going to be a whole different person that erupts out of you. She's going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing. This information is amazing. It is. I'm telling you, I was sitting at the table. Remember that scripture that says he prepares a table for you before you in the presence of your enemies? Sitting at this table, I was like, oh my goodness. Like it was like the good food where you're just like, oh my God, I want to taste that. Oh, this is so delicious. And it just made your palate like, mwah. Tara, you know, that edamame kind of feeling. It's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like I want more of this. Like I want more, but I want it to be more, but I want it to be different, but kind of similar, but I want it to be, what else do you have for me, Tara? Oh, I got some jerk chicken, or I got some this, or I got some, you know, some Jamaican, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's all going to be good. It's not anything that's going to be just like, oh, that didn't leave a good taste. It is like, I sat at this table today and I thought, ooh wee. So take stock in your relationships, the people that are around you. Because when I thought about the money aspect of it, I was just like, wow, that says a lot. Because I don't even show up for money. Like if you think about it, having a relationship with money, like when I started doing that lesson, I was like, I don't even show up. Like I have a relationship with money that is so it reminds me of Nevaeh's dad, where it'd be like this in and out, off and on, where he'd show up and then, you know, he'd surprise me and be like, oh my gosh, you know, or it would be when we're out in public, you really don't want everybody to know that we're together kind of thing. But behind closed doors, it's amazing, it's immaculate. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. And then I find out there you're cheating on me, and then you're giving what you're supposed to be giving to me, you're giving to somebody else, but then I don't say anything because I tolerate your behavior. Great. Telling you, that was like the most awakening moment for me when I did that. Just to know that my relationship with money was similar to the relationship I had with men, where I tolerated your piss poor behavior. I tolerated you showing up when you felt like it. I tolerate you, you know, speaking to me in a certain, you know, manner. I tolerate how you disrespect me in public. I tolerate how you don't even acknowledge me in public. I tolerate all that. Because think about when you think about money, when I think about money, my cards don't work. I'm shifting money here and there, trying to make it show up. I'm blowing your phone up, making you trying to make you come to me. Ain't that I'm telling you, just doing that lesson was just like good googly mooglies. That whole just, man, I can't even say too much anymore, but it was like that moment. So that's one thing I want you guys to do too, is I want you to think about your relationship with money. And then how it correlates with your personal relationship, because all of it comes together. It's like, it's all that energy that we have, you know, doing something different. Like Tara, remember when you started when you started doing your self-care, when you started doing that and you were just like, it made me feel some kind of way because I just felt like I was going to be, you know, I was going to miss out on the thing. Because you never did it. You never went and got your nails done. You never got your hair done. Never did all those things when we first met, remember? And then all of a sudden you were just like, you know, I'm finna go get my hair done. I'm finna go get my nails done.
My feet done.
It's like taking a day. It's like dating money, telling money, hey, because I remember I was telling my kids, I was like, knowing your numbers. So when you know your man, you know your man. You know, I'm finna go and make him this. I'm finna go do this. I'm finna go do that. So knowing money, knowing where my money is what it is, I tell my money to go and take care of all of these things, right? So when you have that relationship with money, it's like what does it look like? My relationship is I tell money to go and take care of these things. I need you to go and take care of these things. I'm relying on you to go and take care of these needs that I have, to make me, stable, to make sure that I'm okay, to make sure that I'm secure, right? I tell money to do that. But I don't tell my relationships to do that. So when I date money now I really have to tell money exactly what I want. I want more of you, and I want you to show up for me all the time. And I want this to be a consistent, harmonious, loving relationship that you and I have. I want it to be where when I wake up in the morning, or when I'm sleeping at night, because this was when I woke up this morning, it was like 5 o'clock, and I said, I am tired of not making money while I sleep. So what I want money to do is I want you to take care of me while I'm sleeping, while I'm awake, while I'm working. While I'm doing my business, I want you to take care of me all the time. I don't want you just to be a one-hit wonder, hit and miss, month to month, paycheck to paycheck. I don't want that anymore. I want us to be consistent in this thing. So when you're thinking about relationship, it's like, even when we're talking about men, Tara, like when you're talking about the relationship that you have with Robert, is that his name? Did I just mess up his name? What's his
No.
name?
Al.
Albert. Well, who the hell is Robert?
I don't know.
Who's Robert? Anyway,
Mhm.
but when we think about the relationship that you have with Albert, it's like you laid down, you set the boundary. Hey, you got to take care of me. You got to make sure I'm secure. When I need this, I need you to show up immediately. Like Lily said, Lily Neeks, I need you when I call, you answer. When I text, you respond immediately. That's what I want money to do. When I need you to show up immediately. I want you to be consistently bringing in something all the time. I don't want to have to ask you to show up. Because when we think about those relationships, why do I have to ask you to come to me? Why do I
Right.
have to ask you for gas money?
Right.
Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to ask you to go get the oil change? Why do I have to ask you to go get tires on my car? I shouldn't have to ask money to do that. Money should be always doing that for me. Because it's protecting me, it's provision, it's providing me with what I'm asking for. If I'm thinking about my relationship with money, that is what I want from a man. I shouldn't have to ask you to go and get gas. I shouldn't have to ask you to go get the oil change. I shouldn't have to ask you for none of that. You should just be willingly knowing she needs to get this taken care of. So how do I take care of that? Always taking care of me. Y'all got a lot of phone calls going on over here. So I don't know. It's a lot of squinting at the phone, and I'm like, are they looking at me? It's your phones. Anyway, so when we think about those relationships, that's what we need to do. When we think about the relationship that we have with money, talk to money the way you would talk to Albert. Talk to money the way you would talk to Chuck. Hey, sir, I'm gonna need you to show up a little bit better than what you're doing. And now you're absent. So I'm talking to Gail. Chuck, now you absent. Now you've just gone missing in action. Where are you? Why are you not providing and caring for me? Where are you? That's money. Where are you? Why are you not showing up for me? Why are you not being consistent in caring for me and loving me and honoring me and taking care of me? When we think about money, that correlates to our relationship. Because remember, Gail, I told you what he's going through, it correlates to his home, how he lives on a day-to-day, right? He keeps things hidden. He's a hoarder. I'm not going to no, I can't bring it into my life, right?
I don't really want to talk about him and
That's okay.
his
It's okay.
because I don't know what he's doing now, and
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I
didn't mean
don't
to do
think
that.
that defines him, everything about him, what
Yeah.
his situation is. So, but I just hope he is going through a healing process right now as well. So,
Absolutely. And if I hit a nerve, I'm sorry. That was not my intention.
I just don't like to out somebody else that isn't here to talk for themselves on their personal life. So, and I haven't You know, I don't know what the inside of his house looks like. I just
Yeah.
only know that what he's told me and
Yeah.
someone else did. So I that's just my respectful thing on that end of it.
Yeah, I apologize.
No, you're fine. It's good.
All right. I didn't mean to hit a nerve. Anyway, so there's that. So it's just when we think about a relationship with money, we have to think about how we talk to the person that we are with. My relationship with money is going to be way different now. It's not going to be this in and out, off and on. You're not consistent. Today you're here, tomorrow you're not. You show up whenever, you know, it's going to be a consistent thing. So there's that. Tara, are you sleeping?
Am I?
Oh,
No,
okay.
I want to keep y'all. Thank you, ladies. Thanks.
What happened?
I want her to be on the phone with me. I'm gonna go to the
Oh, I
gas
don't know. I
station.
just didn't see her face. It got dark.
I
You
was
say you
coming
going
down
what,
the
Natasha?
steps. To the gas station.
Mm-mm.
It's late.
She's going to
I
do
got
what?
her on the phone with me.
She
It's
going
right
to
up
the
the
gas
street.
station at 10 o'clock at night.
That is not late, Zakia. It's right up the
That is
street.
too late. It's too much going on. What time you have to be at work tomorrow?
I got 9, but I can bring